Okay, you're on.
We're going to work today on Booster 19, no-sew zone on a sequenced quilt so that we can stitch around embroidered areas with a pantograph. From the main menu, Design Sew Quilt, Start New, Pantograph, enter rectangle manually. You will enter the size of your quilt plus an inch height and width. I will enter 45 by 60 and finished. I want to use Tammy Finkler's Faster Posies edge to edge, and the quickest way to do that is to search posies. I already have them, but I want you to know how to get them. And there they are. We have to get them twice. Close the row gap. I like the row height on this at 8. Enter and finished. The transition type is continuous. We'll accept that. However, the plus button right there is a toggle to take you to other options. Touch accept and yes. Touch sew quilt. Select the first row. Continue. The second row. Continue. Stop to cut threads. Fourth row. Continue. Stop to cut threads all the way down the quilt. You will need all these rows for this quilt because it is has embroideries in it. However, you can learn at a later date how to work with just 2 rows. And we really don't want to sew the quilt yet. What we want to do now is set up some no-sew blocks. And the way we're going to do that is to use the back arrow. Do you want to keep the stitching sequence? Yes. Add edit block, add block, no sew zone, select all, continue, mark on quilt. I'm going to use this blue star. Can we see this on the, well, I think I have to back out and realign first. So let me do that. And that's in your notes, so you don't need to go through this. And I should have done this earlier. I chose the top left corner and OK. And if I move, and I'm just going to simulate something on this quilt as if it were the top left edge of the quilt. Realign it one more time, get it right. Top left corner, continue, move my needle there, and OK. Now I want to add edit block, no sew zone, select all the patterns, continue, and mark on quilt. I'm going to move the needle now to the first point of the star block that I'm going to simulate embroidery using this block. Are you on the quilt with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On the quilt?
On the quilt, please. Tell me when you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use the first point of this star, okay. And all you really need to be concerned about is that you're getting the high points all around. But I'm actually going, these are straight lines, it's easy just to get the whole thing. The only reason I'm doing this block, finished, the only reason I'm doing this block, and we're back on the screen now, is so we can bring in a circle and make sure it's the right size and in the right location. So I'm going to touch finished, and the stitching behind that star is gone. Transition type is defaulted to continuous, except Yes, we want to commit the transitions. Before I can add the circle as a block, I have to bring it in as a pattern. Add edit pattern, add pattern, block pattern, use that current star block, geometrics, circle, continue, touch scale, and zoom in on that tiny little circle. Well, maybe not quite that far. We need to see the star. Turn the zoom off, scale, and drag that circle until it's outside the star. And that's probably okay right there. Finished. Finished. To turn that circle pattern into a block, add edit block, add block, no sew zone, select all the patterns, but deselect that circle. So zoom in, touch the circle, it has to turn blue, continue, and then touch create pattern contour. Select a pattern to contour, the circle turns red, continue, finished, and finished. Again, we're going to accept continuous, accept, and yes. And now you can see that we've got a circle completely around that star. Finished. I need to know where this panto is going to intersect the circle design the first time. And I know it's going to be right here, but you need to know how to do this in the future if you're doing something extremely intricate. So we're going to preview, and I'm going to stop and restart because I know that the pattern's coming in right here. And we're going to preview so we know where to split on the panto to pick up that new circle. And right there's our entry point. So that's good. I'm going to let it continue for just a minute. Pause and restart on the other side. All I need now is to identify a spot on the circle that will not have any stitching on it when I'm combining, and it's going to be right here. It could be here. Any place that the panto is not showing up now. So that when we're combining, we know we're getting the circle. So that has no stitching. And that's where it picks up again on the other side. We're finished with this, so I'm going to back out. I don't need the current needle position. I'm backing out again. I do want the stitching sequence. I need to add edit pattern, split pattern, zoom in to the left side of that circle, and the first thing I notice is that the start and end point of the circle is here. My line enters here. If I move that start and end point down, and we can do that by modify pattern, and it's on the circle, I can move a start and end point if it's a closed pattern to that same area, then there won't be any tie-offs, back stitching, etc. Finished. Now combine the patterns. Choose the left side of the panto first, continue, touch on the circle, wrong one, let me zoom in a little more, undo, touch this first part of the pattern, continue. I need a spot on the circle, and I really thought that was it, but it's not. It's picking up the other side of the panto. So I'm going to do it one more time. Zoom in, left side of the panto. I'm going to try this side of the line. No. I made that split perhaps in the wrong area. Let me try one more time. Combine here. Ah, I didn't split the panto. I split on the circle. And I need to share the issues as well as the successes so you know what to do when you have them. So let's go back and split again. And make sure we get the panto and not the circle this time. So here's the panto. And I think I've got it. So I have two splits, but they're very close together, and that'll still work nicely. We're going to combine this piece, beautiful, no jump stitch this time, and the rest of the panto. We can do a continuous stitch line there, that's not a problem, because it's very, very close. We better see where this one's at though. I still think we're okay. And finished. 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 We're ready to sew the quilt. We're going to go back to that first row. I will interrupt it, but we just want to test. And we'll restart about here. We want to make sure, and we don't want to sew, we want to preview. Here we go. Good, we've got the circle. And that's what we're looking for. Now we'll pick up the rest of the panto. You will do that across the quilt until you have all your embroidery blocks selected and isolated with the circle. Do the splitting and combining. Take your time. It does take a while. And when you finish the first row, you'll advance the quilt to the second row, realign, and do this all over again. Have fun with Booster 19. Go to the wiki site in a few days to see if the written booster's there to help you go through the steps.